Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more incredible stories. Toby had been Lucy and Greg Carter's chocolate Labrador for 10 loyal years. Once the most energetic pup in their small Montana town, Toby's coat was now peppered with gray, and his playful days of chasing frisbees had dwindled into quieter moments on the porch. But Lucy began noticing something unusual. Toby kept stumbling over familiar objects. One evening, Greg frowned as they watched Toby cautiously navigate the living room, his nose grazing the floor. "It's like he can't see where he's going," Lucy said, her voice tinged with worry. The vet confirmed their fears: progressive retinal atrophy. "Toby's going blind," Dr. Hill said gently. "It's not uncommon in older dogs, but it's progressing quickly." In the weeks that followed, Toby's world dimmed entirely. The once vibrant dog who leapt at the sound of a tennis ball now spent his days curled in his bed, barely lifting his head when Lucy called him. His tail, once a metronome of joy, barely stirred. Lucy, a retired nurse, did everything she could to help rearranging furniture, using scent markers, and laying textured rugs to guide him. But Toby still seemed lost, not just physically, but emotionally. "He's shutting down, Greg," Lucy said one morning, tears welling in her eyes. "He needs something we can't give him, someone who understands his new world." Their granddaughter Emma, ever the animal lover, suggested something unconventional. "Grandma, I saw this video of a cat helping a blind dog. Maybe Toby needs a buddy like that." Lucy chuckled at the idea but couldn't shake it. "What if she's right?" she said to Greg. "Let's try. What do we have to lose?" That afternoon, they visited the local animal rescue. The shelter was lively, filled with barking dogs and curious cats. "We're looking for a companion for our blind dog," Lucy explained to Kara, the shelter manager. Kara raised an eyebrow but smiled. "Actually," she said, "we might have the perfect match." Kara led them to the cat room, where Lucy's eyes landed on a sleek black cat perched on a window ledge. Her golden green eyes observed the room with sharp intelligence, and unlike the other cats, who meowed and pawed for attention, this one stayed calm, assessing everything around her. "This is Willow," Kara said, carefully scooping her up. "She's about 3 years old, and she's got a knack for helping others. We've noticed her guiding some of our older, frail cats to their food bowls or cozy corners. It's unique." Willow studied Lucy and Greg, her head tilted in curiosity. Lucy held out her hand, and Willow leaned in to sniff it before softly rubbing her face against Lucy's fingers. "She's a sweetheart," Kara continued. "She was found outside a hospice building. We think she might have been a therapy cat because she's so gentle and patient." Lucy and Greg exchanged a look. "Let's try," Lucy said. At home, Toby's reaction was cautious but curious. He sniffed the air as Willow gracefully approached him, brushing her tail against his side. Over the next few days, something remarkable happened. Willow began guiding Toby around the house. She'd walk ahead of him, her tail high, pausing to let him catch up when he hesitated. At mealtime, she'd tap his bowl with her paw, waiting until he found it. Lucy and Greg watched in awe as Toby began to change. His tail wagged more often, and he started exploring the yard again, always with Willow at his side. One day, Lucy found them curled up together on Toby's bed, Willow purring softly against his chest. "Look at them," Lucy said to Greg, her voice thick with emotion. "She's given him his confidence back." Toby's world was still dark, but with Willow as his guide, he found his way back to joy. The bond between the two animals became the talk of their small town, a reminder of the unexpected ways love and kindness can light up even the darkest moments. As Lucy watched Toby and Willow lying in the sun one afternoon, she couldn't help but smile. "She didn't just save Toby," she whispered to Greg. "She saved us too." Over the weeks that followed, Lucy and Greg Carter witnessed a remarkable transformation in their beloved Toby, all thanks to Willow. The small black cat, with her glowing golden-green eyes, seemed to understand Toby in a way no one else could. She had become his guide, his protector, and most surprisingly, his friend. From the very first evening in the Carter home, Willow had taken it upon herself to watch over Toby. That night, instead of curling up in the plush bed Lucy had prepared for her, she chose to sleep beside Toby's large cushion by the fireplace. Whenever Toby stirred, disoriented and unsure, Willow would press against him or let out her distinctive soft trill, as if to reassure him that he wasn't alone. But it was during the morning routines that Willow's unique abilities truly shone. On the third day, Lucy and Greg sat in awe as they watched her lead Toby to his breakfast bowl. Willow tapped the bowl gently with her paw, producing a soft clinking sound. Then she walked back to Toby, brushing her tail lightly against his side before walking forward a few steps. She stopped, turned, and trilled. Toby hesitated, but eventually followed, his nose twitching as he moved cautiously toward the sound. Step by step, Willow guided him to his bowl. For the first time in weeks, Toby ate without needing Lucy or Greg to guide him. "She's remarkable," Greg said, his voice thick with emotion. "It's like she was made for him." Lucy wiped a tear from her cheek, watching as Willow sat nearby while Toby ate, her gaze never leaving him. "She's not just helping him," Lucy whispered. "She's giving him his confidence back." As the days turned into weeks, Willow's influence on Toby grew. The once hesitant dog began exploring the backyard again, always with Willow at his side. If Toby veered too close to a flower bed or the oak tree's low-hanging branches, Willow would dart ahead, meowing softly to redirect him. Neighbors watched in amazement as the duo navigated the yard together. "Is that Toby?" Mrs. Reynolds from next door asked one afternoon, peering over the fence. "I can't believe it." "He looks so happy," Greg chuckled. "That's Willow's doing. She's his guide now." Word of the pair's bond spread throughout the small town. People came by to catch a glimpse of the remarkable cat and the blind dog she cared for. Emma, their granddaughter, began documenting their journey, sharing videos of Willow guiding Toby on social media. The clips went viral, touching hearts far beyond the town's borders. In one particularly moving video, Willow led Toby to the edge of the creek in their backyard. Toby hesitated, unsure of the uneven terrain, but Willow meowed encouragingly, stepping carefully along the path. Toby followed, his trust in her evident. By the time they reached the water's edge, his tail was wagging furiously, a sight that brought tears to Lucy's eyes. "Toby hasn't wagged his tail like that in months," she said, her voice trembling with joy. But their story wasn't just about Toby's transformation. Willow, too, seemed to thrive in her new role. She had found purpose and companionship in helping Toby, and her bond with the Carters grew stronger each day. She was no longer the stray cat found in a nursing home parking lot. She was family. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the backyard, Lucy and Greg watched Toby and Willow from the porch. Toby, his movements steadier now, followed Willow across the yard, his head held high and his tail wagging gently. "They've both given each other a second chance," Greg said, wrapping an arm around Lucy. Lucy nodded, her heart full. It's amazing what love and understanding can do. They've brought each other back to life. As the stars appeared in the evening sky, Toby and Willow settled by the porch steps side by side. It was a picture of resilience, of the unbreakable bond between two unlikely companions. And for Lucy and Greg, it was a daily reminder that hope and healing often come from the most unexpected places. One afternoon, Lucy Carter heard a soft knock at the door. Mrs. Jenkins, her neighbor, stood on the porch with tears glistening in her eyes. "Lucy," she said, her voice trembling, "I just saw the most incredible thing." Toby was napping in the yard, whimpering in his sleep. Your cat, Willow, walked right over, curled up next to him, and started grooming his face. It was like she was calming him down, like a mother comforting her child. "I've never seen anything like it." Lucy smiled, her own heart swelling with emotion. Willow and Toby had created a bond so unique it touched everyone who saw them together. At first, it was their teamwork that stood out, Willow guiding Toby through the house or leading him to his food bowl. But as the days passed, it became clear that their connection went far deeper. They weren't just helping each other survive, they were helping each other heal. As autumn gave way to winter, new challenges emerged. The first snowfall blanketed their backyard in white, transforming the familiar terrain into a confusing new world for Toby. On that morning, he stood at the back door, hesitant to step out. The cold scent of snow filled the air and he shuffled nervously, unsure of his footing. But Willow, as always, had a plan. Lucy watched from the kitchen window as Willow ventured outside first, her small gray paws leaving delicate prints in the snow. She returned to Toby, shaking the snow off her fur and brushing against his side as if to say, "It's okay, I'll show you the way." Then, step by step, she began creating a path. She packed the snow down, walking back and forth in deliberate lines, forming a safe corridor for Toby. Every few moments, she'd return to him, gently touching his paw and guiding him forward. "Greg, come look at this," Lucy called, her voice filled with awe. Together, they watched Willow lead Toby through the yard, her small frame moving with determination. Toby followed, his movements hesitant but trusting. "That cat is smarter than half the people I know," Greg said, shaking his head in amazement. Winter brought other challenges too. The dark evenings made Toby nervous, and the cold weather made his joints ache. But Willow adapted to every new difficulty. She began nudging rugs into place with her nose, creating textured pathways through the house so Toby could navigate more easily. On cold mornings when Toby struggled to get up, she would sit by his side, kneading his fur with her paws until he felt ready to move. It was as if Willow instinctively understood his needs, adjusting her behavior to make his life easier. Dr. Roberts, the family's veterinarian, was so impressed by their partnership that she began documenting their story. "This isn't just companionship," she told Lucy during a checkup. "Willow isn't just guiding Toby, she's actively solving problems to improve his quality of life. It's remarkable. She's not just a seeing eye cat, she's a healer." Word of the pair's bond spread quickly through their small town. Neighbors would stop by just to watch Willow and Toby's routines. It wasn't long before Emma and Kara began posting videos online of Willow guiding Toby through snowy trails or helping him climb the porch steps. The clips went viral, capturing hearts worldwide. People sent messages from all over, sharing stories of how the duo's bond had inspired them to adopt animals or rethink the way they cared for their own pet. One evening, as the family sat together in the living room, Willow curled up against Toby's side, her purring blending with the soft crackle of the fireplace. Toby's head rested on his paws, his tail wagging gently in his sleep. "They've both saved each other," Lucy said softly, watching the two. "She gave him his life back, and he gave her a home." Greg nodded, his gaze fixed on their unlikely pair of companions. "It's amazing what love and a little trust can do," he said. "They've turned what could have been a heartbreaking story into something beautiful." As the first stars appeared in the winter sky, Lucy felt a deep sense of gratitude. Toby and Willow weren't just pets. They were a reminder that even in the face of challenges, there's always hope. Together, they proved that with patience, love, and a little ingenuity, no obstacle is too great to overcome. One afternoon, Lucy and Greg Carter were preparing to host a small family gathering when Emma burst into the living room, her eyes bright with excitement. "Mom, Dad!" Toby and Willow are under the Christmas tree again. They look like one of those pictures on a holiday card. Lucy peered around the corner to see what Emma meant. Sure enough, Toby lay contentedly beneath the glowing Christmas tree, his golden fur bathed in the warm, colorful lights. Willow was curled up next to him, her gray coat shimmering under the twinkling bulbs. She'd positioned herself just right, making the scene look almost magical. Lucy felt a lump rise in her throat. Their partnership wasn't just remarkable, it was transformative. The holiday season was full of small but beautiful moments like this. The Carters had initially hesitated to decorate, worried that the Christmas tree might confuse Toby, who was still adjusting to his blindness. But Willow, ever intuitive, had spent an entire afternoon walking Toby around the tree, nudging him gently when he got too close and creating a safe path for him to navigate. It was as though she understood the temporary change and wanted to ensure Toby felt secure. As spring approached, the bond between Toby and Willow began to inspire the entire community. Their story spread beyond the Carter household, reaching the local animal shelter. Sarah, the shelter manager who had introduced Willow to the family, called Lucy one sunny morning, her voice full of excitement. "Lucy, you won't believe it. We've started a new program inspired by Toby and Willow. We're calling it the Toby and Willow Project. We're pairing senior and disabled animals together, just like them. Yesterday, we matched an elderly cat with a younger, more active one to help guide her around. And get this, a deaf Great Dane now has a tiny terrier as his guide. It's amazing." Lucy couldn't help but smile. What had started as a way to help Toby had blossomed into something much bigger. The local elementary school also reached out, asking if Toby and Willow could visit to teach children about friendship and resilience. Lucy was hesitant at first, unsure how Toby would handle a new environment. But as always, Willow seemed to sense the importance of the occasion. On the day of the visit, she guided Toby through the school halls with extraordinary care, brushing against him gently and using her signature trilling sound to lead him. The children were enchanted. They sat in a circle on the floor, watching in awe as Willow demonstrated her signals, guiding Toby around the room. Their teacher beamed and said, "This class is what real friendship looks like. It's about helping each other when you need it most." A little girl in a wheelchair raised her hand, her voice full of pride. "It's like how my best friend helps me carry my books," she exclaimed, turning to smile at the boy beside her, who grinned back. The visit was such a success that the school invited Toby and Willow back for monthly visits. The school counselor later told Lucy that the duo's story had a profound impact. Children who struggled with disabilities or self-esteem found comfort in their bond. "If a cat can help a blind dog," one young boy said, "then maybe it's okay that I need help reading." At home, the connection between Toby and Willow grew deeper with each passing day. Willow developed an uncanny ability to sense Toby's needs. On chilly mornings, she'd snuggle close, warming his stiff joints with her body heat. During thunderstorms, when Toby's anxiety spiked, Willow would press against him, purring loudly until his trembling subsided. One particular afternoon, while Toby rested in the sunlit backyard, Willow surprised Lucy yet again. As Toby lay with his nose twitching in the gentle breeze, Willow climbed onto a low garden wall nearby. She perched there, her golden eyes scanning the yard as if on lookout duty. It was as though she was saying, "I've got this. He's safe with me." Lucy stood at the kitchen window, her heart swelling with gratitude. Toby had been given a second chance at life, and it was all thanks to a little gray cat with an extraordinary spirit. "Greg," she called softly, "come see this." Greg joined her at the window, shaking his head in amazement. "You know," he said, slipping an arm around her shoulders, "they've taught us something too. It's not just about helping each other. It's about seeing the best in someone, even when the world might not." Lucy nodded, watching as Willow hopped down to nudge Toby gently, leading him back toward the house. "I think they've reminded us of something important," she said. "That love and trust can heal just about anything." As Toby and Willow disappeared inside, the Carters realized they weren't just witnessing a bond between two animals. They were witnessing a profound lesson in compassion and resilience, one that would stay with them forever. As summer turned to autumn, Lucy and Greg Carter often found themselves marveling at the bond between Toby and Willow. The backyard was alive with vibrant leaves and crisp air, and while Toby moved more slowly now, Willow's guidance never wavered. She was his constant companion, not only his eyes, but also his voice, protector, and friend. One breezy afternoon, Lucy overheard two neighbors chatting over the fence. "I never thought a cat could guide a dog like that," one said, her tone filled with awe. "It's like she knows exactly what he needs." The other nodded. "It makes you think about all the assumptions we make, who can help who can connect with who." This little duo proves that anything is possible. Lucy smiled to herself as she watched Willow lead Toby toward the porch steps, her movements patient and deliberate. She would pause at each step, giving him time to navigate, then softly nudge him forward. It was as if she instinctively understood Toby's limits and adapted to them. Despite Willow's extraordinary care, Toby's age was beginning to show more clearly. At 14 years old, his golden fur had turned silver, and his stiff joints made even short walks more challenging. But Willow seemed to double down on her devotion. On one particularly difficult morning, Toby struggled to get up from his bed by the fireplace. His usual determination seemed dimmed by the weight of age. Without hesitation, Willow darted into the kitchen and meowed insistently at Lucy, pacing between her and the cabinet where Toby's arthritis medication was kept. Startled, Lucy followed her and quickly realized what Willow was trying to communicate. "She's not just his eyes anymore," Greg said softly, watching the scene unfold. "She's become his voice, too." Their unique bond caught the attention of a veterinary college that asked to document their relationship for a study on animal adaptability and interspecies communication. Researchers were astonished by Willow's behavior. They recorded her modifying her signals to suit Toby's changing needs. For instance, when Toby seemed unsure of which direction to turn, Willow began brushing his left or right side with her tail, gently guiding him. The researchers called it innovative interspecies communication, and their findings spread far beyond the academic world. Willow and Toby's story was featured in magazines, inspiring a children's book titled The Cat Who Became Eyes. The book became a hit in hospitals and therapy centers, helping children understand that disabilities don't define a person or an animal. It taught lessons about compassion, resilience, and the power of unexpected friendships. As the leaves began to fall, Willow adapted their daily adventures to suit Toby's slower pace. She created small exploration zones on the porch, bringing him textures and scents to discover leaves, feathers, and even small flowers. Each treasure was carefully placed so Toby could find it with his nose, bringing moments of joy to his quieter days. One golden autumn evening, Lucy sat in the living room, the warm light of the setting sun casting long shadows. She watched as Willow guided Toby to his favorite spot by the fireplace. Toby moved slowly, each step deliberate. When Toby finally settled onto his cushion, Willow curled up beside him, her gray fur blending into his golden coat. Greg sat down next to Lucy, his voice thick with emotion. "You know, when we went to the shelter that day, we thought we were just finding a guide for Toby." Lucy nodded, her eyes brimming with tears. "But instead, we found something so much bigger, a lesson in love, patience, and how the smallest gestures can make the biggest difference." Willow stretched, her paw resting gently on Toby's side as his eyes closed. The crackling fire filled the room with warmth, and Lucy felt her heart swell. What began as an effort to help a blind, aging dog had become something extraordinary, a partnership that taught not just their family, but the entire community about the limitless possibilities of love and friendship. As the seasons turned and the memory of Toby grew into a cherished chapter, Lucy and Greg Carter found themselves marveling at the continued impact of Willow's quiet heroism. Toby had passed peacefully in his sleep, with Willow curled by his side, just as she had been throughout his final years. He had lived 2 extraordinary years guided by his feline friend, defying all odds and inspiring everyone who witnessed their bond. In the days following Toby's passing, Willow's grief was evident. She would sit by his empty bed, letting out soft trills that once signaled safety and guidance. Her calls went unanswered, but it was clear Willow wasn't ready to stop helping others. One morning, as Lucy prepared breakfast, Willow sat by the window, her tail flicking with urgency. She let out a sharp meow and refused to move until Lucy looked outside. There, shuffling slowly up the sidewalk with a walker, was Mr. Peterson from down the street. He had recently returned home after a stroke and was taking one of his first unsteady trips outside. Willow meowed insistently, then turned to Lucy as if urging her to act. Without hesitation, Lucy invited him in for tea. As soon as Mr. Peterson sat down, Willow approached him, her movements deliberate and calm. She rubbed against his legs and let out her gentle trill, the same sound she used to guide Toby. By the end of the visit, Mr. Peterson was smiling, a rare sight since his stroke. This simple act of connection became a new routine. Willow would wait by the window each morning, watching for someone who needed a little extra love. Word spread quickly, and soon the local physical therapy center invited Willow to become a therapy cat. She took to the role naturally, weaving between wheelchairs and walkers, instinctively choosing the patients who needed her comforting presence the most. Meanwhile, the Charlie and Willow program at the shelter grew into something extraordinary. Inspired by their story, shelters across the country began pairing animals with complementary needs, creating bonds that transformed lives. A special wing was dedicated to this effort, and above its entrance hung a large photo of Toby and Willow together. Beneath it were the words, "Love lights the way." On the 1-year anniversary of Toby's passing, the Carter family received a surprise package. Inside was a letter and a photo from a family in another state who had adopted a blind puppy through the program. The photos showed the puppy being guided by a sleek gray cat remarkably similar to Willow. The letter read, "Your story gave us the courage to believe in possibilities. Toby and Willow showed us that the greatest acts of love often come from the most unexpected friendships." Willow lived out her remaining years, continuing to touch lives in ways that went far beyond what anyone could have imagined. She had taught her small town, and beyond that love knows no boundaries, that disabilities don't define worth, and that even the smallest creature can change the world. As Lucy and Greg sat on their porch one golden afternoon, watching Willow rest in the sun, Lucy said, "We thought we were helping Toby when we brought Willow home, but it turns out she's been helping all of us." Greg smiled, looking down at Willow, whose gentle purring filled the air. "Sometimes," he said, "the greatest gifts come in the smallest packages." Willow opened one golden eye as if she knew they were talking about her, and let out a soft trill, a sound that would forever symbolize love, hope, and the limitless power of friendship. In the years that followed, the story of Toby and Willow continued to ripple far beyond the Carter family, touching lives in ways no one could have predicted. Willow, the gray cat with golden eyes, became a symbol of quiet resilience and unconditional love. On sunny afternoons, she often napped in Toby's favorite spot by the window, where the sunlight turned her fur a golden hue, as if carrying a piece of Toby's spirit with her. When people in the town spoke of Toby and Willow, it was never just about a blind dog and his unlikely feline guide. It was about how love could bridge divides, how compassion could illuminate the darkest paths, and how true friendship could leave an everlasting legacy. Their story became a touchstone for the community, a reminder of the transformative power of kindness. The impact of Toby and Willow's bond extended far beyond their little home. The local veterinary college established the Toby and Willow Scholarship, awarded annually to students innovating in the field of animal-assisted therapy and care for disabled pets. Each recipient was inspired by their remarkable tale, and their work carried the duo's legacy into the future. One of those students, Emma Carter Gregg and Lucy's granddaughter, became a veterinary technician specializing in rehabilitative care. She often told families the story of Toby and Willow, reminding them of the incredible things animals could accomplish with a little love and support. Meanwhile, research inspired by Willow's caregiving instincts led to groundbreaking discoveries in animal-assisted rehabilitation. Medical journals began referring to the Willow effect, a phenomenon where animals who naturally took on caregiving roles showed heightened emotional intelligence and cognitive abilities. Studies highlighted how animals like Willow weren't just helpers, but healers, capable of forging connections that transcended language and species. The Carters kept a special photo album dedicated to Toby and Willow. Its pages were filled with snapshots of their bond, Willow guiding Toby through the freshly planted garden, the pair curled up by the Christmas tree, and their last autumn walk together as golden leaves fell gently around them. Each photo captured a moment of profound connection, the kind that left an indelible mark on anyone who witnessed it. After Willow's passing, the Carters created the Guiding Light Fund, a charitable initiative to support medical expenses for senior and disabled animals at the local shelter. Its motto, "Love Lights the Way," encapsulated the essence of Toby and Willow's journey. The fund transformed lives, ensuring that no animal would go without care simply because they were older or different. Today, in the center of the town's park, a bronze statue stands, a golden retriever and a gray cat walking side by side. Children run their hands over the smooth metal, tracing the contours of their tails intertwined. A plaque beneath reads, "Toby and Willow, love lights the way." For the Carters and the countless lives touched by their story, Toby and Willow weren't just a dog and a cat, they were a testament to the extraordinary power of love, the unbreakable bonds of friendship, and the quiet heroes who remind us that the greatest light often shines from within. In the heart of the park, where sunlight filters gently through the trees, a bronze statue of Toby and Willow stands as a beacon of love and friendship. Parents stop with their children, tracing the figures of the golden retriever and the gray cat walking side by side, and share the story that continues to inspire generations. The plaque beneath the statue reads, "For Toby and Willow, who taught us that true friendship lights the way through any darkness and that love knows no boundaries." Their story is one of transformation, of a blind dog finding his way through life with the guidance of an extraordinary cat, and of a community learning that compassion and patience can bridge even the widest divides. Toby and Willow's bond became a symbol of resilience, teaching young and old alike that love isn't just something we see, it's something we feel and share. On quiet mornings, some say the magic of Toby and Willow lingers. It's in the way sunlight dances through the leaves, in the quiet kindness of animals helping one another, and in the enduring reminder that the strongest bonds come from learning to see with our hearts, not just our eyes. The story of Toby and Willow offers a timeless lesson that resonates deeply in our everyday lives: the power of love, patience, and compassion to overcome obstacles and create meaningful connections. In a world that often prioritizes speed, efficiency, and perfection, their bond reminds us that the greatest transformations happen when we slow down and meet others where they are, offering support rather than judgment. In our current lives, we face countless situations that mirror Toby's struggle and Willow's response. Whether it's a friend going through a difficult time, a colleague overwhelmed with stress, or even a stranger in need of kindness, the story teaches us to pay attention to the unspoken struggles around us. Willow didn't see Toby's blindness as a limitation. She saw an opportunity to guide and empower him, proving that empathy and small, thoughtful actions can create monumental change. We too can choose to be guides for others, offering encouragement, patience, and understanding when it's needed most. Toby's resilience, despite his challenges, reminds us to embrace our own imperfections and lean on the support systems around us. Life often presents us with difficulties that feel insurmountable, but having someone, whether a friend, family member, or even a furry companion who believes in us can make all the difference. Similarly, by being that willow for someone else, we can inspire confidence and hope, even in the darkest times. The story also highlights the importance of adaptation. As circumstances change, so must our strategies. Willow constantly adjusted her guidance for Toby, teaching us the value of flexibility and creativity when navigating life's challenges. Instead of lamenting what we or others cannot do, we should focus on discovering what is possible and finding joy in the small victories. In current life, take inspiration from their story by practicing kindness in unexpected ways. Check in on a neighbor, offer a listening ear to a friend, or simply show patience with yourself as you face your own struggles. The lesson is simple but profound. True strength lies in connection, and when we choose to see the world through the lens of love and compassion, we create a ripple effect that can transform lives just as Toby and Willow transformed theirs. If this story touches your heart, take a moment to reflect on the power of resilience and love. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more incredible stories.